What's going on, everybody? Welcome to season 2, episode 3 of the Bruisery Podcast. Today I have a special guest, a legend, of OG, of a lot of things, especially training and mentoring, educator, teacher, youth security provider. I got Coach, Mr. Mel Burke. How you doing? Senior, sorry. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good this morning. How are you?
I'm all right.
Thanks for having me, too.
I appreciate it. It's a pleasure all mine, honestly. When I reached out to you, I wanted to do it a couple, like when all this stuff would start happening, the quarantining and stuff like that. But I was like, I got bullet points of different individuals that, dealing with youngins and, providing in our city of Cleveland and stuff like that. But then I pressed pause on it. But then after everything started opening back up, I was like, hey, all I can do is ask, and he can say yes or no. You know
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
So, but I wanted to first start off like, cause I don't have a lot of friends that know you way personally. I met you as a teenager at East Tech, which we'll get into. But like, what was your childhood bringing up?
Single family home. I'm the youngest of 3 brothers. Mm-hmm. My older brother Keith, he's a retired Marine.
Gotcha.
And he still lives in Havelock, North Carolina.
There we go.
My middle brother Leonard, he's a resident of Garfield.
Gotcha.
And I'm the youngest. I'm 8 years from my older brother and 6 years from the middle.
Right. So
grew up in the Kinsman area, Garden Valley, Kinsman, Mount Pleasant area.
And then because what my prep say, you as far as high schools, I mean, I don't know what elementary schools was back then, like elementary and middle school. What was there back then?
Well, I went to middle school was Charles W. Elliott.
Okay, I remember Elliott.
I started out at Robert Fulton right there on Kinsman, but it's closed.
Right.
And then I went to Moses Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
But after we moved up to 149th in Kinsman Way.
Yep. Because I was a couple of years lesser than you, but I grew up on that same area between Barlett and Kinsman, 143rd, with a snack shack and stuff like that.
Right.
Where Save More, when I was young in the 80s or whatever,
yes.
Save More was there at the time. So Save a lot now, but and then I went to AJ Rickoff, the original one.
Okay.
So stuff like that, but it says you went to Max Hayes.
Yeah.
As far as high school was.
Yeah, I started off. I lived in the JFK area, but I chose Max Hayes because a couple of my I hung with some older guys, and they went there first. Kennedy to me was kind of big. I knew everybody. Wanted to get back on track.
Gotcha.
I wasn't the same guy I am now when I was growing up.
I don't want to go too deep into it.
Right,
I'm going more of the.
I had to go to Max Hayes and find myself.
So get away from the inner city.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the same thing with me. Because I lived on Miles at the time, so I had because I went to Whitney Young as well. I went to Partyville Whitney Young for the Gift and Talent program.
Right.
Back in 98 or 96 to 98, and then I had South. Well, I couldn't do South because of the Gift and Talent thing. So it was either Kennedy, Marshall, Max Hayes, or East Tech, where my mom wanted me to be close because she used to work at B.F. Goodrich behind South High School.
Right.
So she always wanted to be close to be if she got to come to school or whatever. So that was the same thing, but I got away from because I tried Kennedy because everybody I knew everybody from up this side, you know, but. Everything worked out. So I did all 4 years there, and graduated and stuff like that. So I learned a lot. So athletics, what did you do? Basketball, football?
Well,
as far as you, like when you was in high school or not?
Well, being the youngest of a single parent home, my mom put me in everything. My older brother, the retired Marine, he was the leader of the pack. And he went through some court stuff as a teenager.
Yes.
Did a little time. So I guess my mom wanted to make sure the youngest wouldn't go that route. Mm-hmm. So I was in every program. I used to go to Karamu House when I was younger.
Yes. That's down on Quincy, right?
Yeah, she had me in martial arts. Summertime programs at every school. So my mom kept me busy with baseball, football, and basketball growing up.
Gotcha.
The basketball part came on an accident because you can always find a hoop, so you're going to play that. Mm. But she kept me involved in a lot of things, you know.
Gotcha.
So, and I'm really glad she did because met a lot of people and I'm kind of well rounded.
And with that, so this going into like the main purpose of me actually of me actually having you here, with the whole since your mom put you in programs, and then like for instance you being a part of King Kennedy, and was that your first start of being around, like, I mean, starting like your coaching pedigree or like mentoring pedigree,
Well,
or did it start earlier than that?
it started earlier because I went to after Max Hayes, I went to Youngstown State University,
Gotcha.
and I walked on the basketball program there.
Okay.
Coming home from summers, I met a couple other guys. I used to go, even though I didn't go to Kennedy, I knew everybody that went there because I used to go to Kennedy Rec and play ball and all that. And one of my friends, Derek and Richard Russell, they played at Kennedy.
Yes.
I met the coach there. So as my second year in college, I started helping out with the basketball program, the JV at JFK, with Bill Gambrell.
Gotcha.
So I started coaching then. That's how I got the bug.
Oh, and then so, cause you said basketball fell into your lap because you always can find a hoop. So, why not football or baseball? Because you said he was well rounded.
Well, it was funny because my before I went to Max Hayes, it was I went to Max Hayes for about a month.
Right.
Didn't like it because to be very blunt with you, used to being around African Americans. When I got over there, it was different races, different nationalities.
The West Side, yeah.
West Side. So told my mom, I got to go to Kennedy. Went to Kennedy for about 2-3 weeks. Couldn't take it. So I had to ask my mom. I said, Mom, can I? She, like I said, she used to work at the Federal Building, so she catching the bus. Mom, I got a request. Can I go back to Max Hayes?
I know she was hot about
Boy, are you crazy? Make your mind up soon. So, like I said, once again, to be very real, as reality sports says, I said, Ma, I haven't been to class in 2 weeks. I'm not going to make it at Kennedy. It's too big. I know too many people. So we had to go back to Max Hayes to get in. But Max Hayes, back then, only took a certain amount of people with B+ average.
Oh, gotcha.
So when I left, my spot was taken. So we went all the way back there, and they said, well, we're full now. He can't get back in. The man upstairs blessed me because on the way out, as my mom was fussing me out going out the door, the principal was walking in. And he said, hey, Sister Burke, how you doing? They went to church together. And he said, what's wrong? Oh, my son was here, then he left. Now he's trying to come back. He's being hard-headed. And he said, well, we're full, but let me see what I can do. Knowing somebody, I got back in. Luckily, I got back in.
Good deal.
Saved my life.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal. So all right, so we was at JV. You being at Youngstown State, and then going back to Kennedy, you start helping JV in there, helping out there. So from there, after you graduate or whatnot, once you come back here to Cleveland home base, where does it start? Where does coaching start? Where do Coach Burke, where it starts at?
Well, like I said, during the summers and
right.
When I got back after I graduated from Dyke College downtown Cleveland.
Yes, I saw that as well. Sorry.
Yeah. So as I got out of college, playing ball in leagues, trying to semi-pro league and the European league, that chasing the dream that didn't work out, and I started working out with Villa Angela St. Joe High School. I always worked around kids, and got with them and I became the freshman coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and during that time is when I met the director of Boys and Girls Club at Shaker Square one day. And he said, hey, aren't you Coach Burke? You work with kids? I said, yeah. You want a job? Sure. And went down to King Kennedy. Whew, it was rough. But some told me to, they asked me to, for 3-4 days, just come visit, see if you like it. And to be quite honest, off the chain. I mean, crazy. But me being the guy I am, I guess my Garden Valley kicked
There you
in,
go.
and I told the lady and the guy, I said, I'll take it, and they was like, what? Yeah, I mean, I just felt it was for me.
Yeah, and I feel because I'm Mount Pleasant. I'm Mount Pleasant, but I done met a lot of folks through King Kennedy through the little leagues that we did at the time when they did offer that stuff at the time. And recently or a long time ago, Mount Pleasant has been since shut down, which kind of sucks for the kids or whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of the best things I felt on the King Kenny thing with the mentors like I spoke upon when I came to visit you, like Aaron Butler. That was one of our things.
One of my guys, I coached him.
Right, Mr. Collins, Miss Young. So all these people that I'm 36 and I've been there since I was like 6, and we have a whole family structure that we still good. Like I said, the McGee's one of the Moores, just everything like that. So I know that it really helped a lot of youth. The percentage of being good and get some type of mentorship of what you offer. So that would really trigger me to have you on. And so with King Kennedy, so he's a manager director.
Yeah, King Kennedy for about 8 years. Yeah, about 6 to 8 years there. As I was doing that, I was also I started my reality sports program because
1990.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Because it was my calling to help the kids out with the things that I went through. Chasing that dream of trying to go pro without trying to graduate.
Gotcha.
And luckily, through my endeavors, I was able to maintain and get it. I didn't graduate college until like 25, 26.
Gotcha.
You
And then so what reality sports was, so that was 1990. So obviously you already had that established. And then how did you work your way up? Because you said you was at VASJ, and then so how did you start getting to like with you and Stowe or the tech or like the East Tech era?
Well, I started coaching boys with like I said VASJ
Right.
after the JFK thing. As I was doing the King Kennedy stuff, a lot of my pro friends who made college ball and pro friends, I would invite them down to the King Kennedy Boys and Girls Club to mentor, play against my kids. So I started an AAU team there. No, our King Kennedy club team started. They had tournaments, the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Yep.
So we was traveling statewide, citywide with our Boys and Girls Club team with the guys. So I was still coaching guys after I left JFK and Villa Angela St. Joe. And when I got to get to the girls' side, it was just funny because I trained girls. That's how I met Marlena Dozier. I trained girls, but I coached boys. I never even thought I was going to be able to coach girls because, to be quite honest, my demands, my language, my behavior, guys, I'm hard on them.
I wanted to ask you that. I was gonna get you already answering one of my questions.
Yeah.
But go ahead, because
you can't communicate the same way. It's disrespectful, basically.
Yep.
You can't talk to nobody's daughter like that.
It's no different from my son. It's like just being a father. Like my wife, we got an 18-year-old upstairs, but I let her sway with that. You know what I'm saying? They had that female talking bond or whatnot there, but then my sons or whatever, then that's what I'm doing. So
Exactly.
I guess that can go the same. That translate the same way in coaching then. Huh?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And I did the boys side, and Coach Galloway and Coach Stovall was doing the girls side.
Yes.
From CMHA, because CMHA would sponsor the programs along with the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
And Stovall just asked me, he was the coach at East Tech. Mm-hmm. He said, "Hey man, you want to try work?" He said, "You pretty good with the girls, man. With the boys, you want to come on the girls side?" And I was like, "Never." He was like, "I'm telling you, you come one day, you're not gonna go back." I said, "Stowe, I can't coach girls because my demands are too high. This is the same sport that saved my life. I got a lot of demand in it. I got a lot of expectations in it on the male side that I don't think I could relate to the girls." And it's funny because he was like, "Burke, I'm telling you, if you start coaching girls, you won't go back to the boys." as I got older, he asked me to come one day. He said, just come to one of the girls' workouts, man. And like I said, I had trained Marlena, so Marlena went to East Tech.
Right.
I met Marlena when she was like 8.
Gotcha.
And she was the first girl. She was the first Burke girl.
Gotcha.
So as I would go to support her at Tech. He was like, man, you might as well just stay. Come on with us. He got me. He sold it.
He sold it.
He sold it. And to be quite honest, he was right. When I started working with girls, one thing about girls, once they believe in you, they'll go through a brick wall for you. And that's what the communication got better, and that's what sold me on it.
Gotcha. And so you, I guess you fluent at this because you answering all the questions I had, because I was like, I had in my talking points, I was like, when do it happen to be like, all right, I trust this guy? Like, what makes them? What do you think makes them like, all right, I trust this guy? Whether it's the parents or the kid within himself.
Well, really, they didn't, because, like I said, I brought something different. Because I'm a firm believer, because I played the game, and I wasn't the best in the state. I was just well respected because I played hard. Mm-hmm. Even the thing with Youngstown State, when I walked on, it was like 30 guys, but they only kept 2 of us. And what I did was, one of my buddies, Richard Russell, he was on scholarship there. And I met the coach through him and got in shape before I went to college, because you can't walk in there out of shape.
Oh, yeah.
It's a done deal.
I bet.
So I knew what they expected. But to answer your question, I brought to the girls' side conditioning, weights, heavy ropes, training, barbells, dumbbells. They wasn't used to that. Mile run, 2 mile runs, work our way up to 3 mile runs. Matter of fact, my first day with them, we did you ever heard of the Indian run, where you get everybody in a circle and you got to catch up?
Yeah, yes.
We did an Indian run, and about 3 girls threw up. And they was like, they didn't call me Coach Burke, Khadijah, Abdul Haq, and Pooh. They started calling me Workout Man.
Khadijah used to be my neighbor. She used to be my neighbor, actually.
Yeah. So my name wasn't Coach Burke no more. It was, Here come Workout Man. We see, and every time they saw me, they was like, here come this guy. He got heavy ropes. See, we got to go outside and run. But that's what I know separates athletes from each other.
Right.
Mediocre to great. It may just be strength. It may be conditioning. You may be bigger, stronger, faster, or we may be equal talent-wise, but if I'm bigger, stronger, faster, I may get an edge on you.
That makes sense. I say, in my era when I was there, when I was at Tech, and that was 98 to 02, so that was the Girana and
we was rolling.
Yeah, I was rolling. I was rolling hard. I rolled all the way down to Value City, like we spoke about. Cause y'all was doing like 2-a-days and like stuff like that, like, or you'd be like, cause I know y'all had a gym before us. And then soon they get out of the gym at the school, then y'all go across the street to Lonnie Burton and do some more stuff.
Yeah, do the most stuff. Yeah.
I was like, yo.
Because to add the question, I was at Boys and Girls Club, and Mayor Mike White and Dwayne Browder used to be the commissioner of CMHA. Mm-hmm. Dwayne Browder was like, hey, we got a bigger job for you. You're doing a great job at the Boys and Girls Club. You want to be the manager at Lonnie Burton Rec? I'm like, same area.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Are you degreed? I'm like, yeah, I got a degree. Hey, why don't you come be the manager? Like, we're looking for a rec manager, because once again, the same thing at Lonnie Burton. It was kind of, at the Boys and Girls Club, it was kind of rough.
Right.
And God blessed me with some good staff. I was able to get that in order and put some stability to the programs. When I got to Lonnie Burton Rec, it was the same thing. Guys was, a little hustle game and no programming. It was kind of rough, right. Low expectations. So Mayor Mike White and the City of Cleveland staff gave me a lot of support. I was able to hire better staff, new staff, and then increase the staff that I had, because they was very hardworking and knowledgeable. They just didn't have the leadership.
Gotcha.
So that's when I was able to coach at East Tech and then use Lonnie Burton Rec as our second site, because I was the manager.
And real quick on a side note, with the Lonnie Burton, because I know that they had like a boxing program
yes.
at that time. So
yes.
did you implement that or
no? It was already there.
Yeah.
But me and Dwayne Browder was my staff. He passed away. Rest in peace. he was a former boxer.
Gotcha.
So that was his love. So what I did was use my connections. You know, networking is my number one thing. You got to, I mean, you can't do it by yourself. So I started networking and people around the state of Ohio, and Dwayne Broder. That was his baby. So I just gave him what he needed and supported it, and he ran with it.
Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. So, reality sports, 1990. That's when it was established. Was that just your dream, or was it?
Well, It was a collaboration of the Russell brothers, Richard Russell and Derek Russell, who I grew up with on Kinsman, and they both. I played ball at Youngstown with Richard. Derek played at JFK and Canisius College.
Gotcha.
And we had Vince Johnson, who played at Cleveland Heights. He was a professional player overseas. Richard played overseas. We had like a 5-people circle. Greg Bell that played at Shaw.
Gotcha.
And we, I decided to say, look, man, I'm going to stop. You know, I tried chasing that dream, but I wasn't good enough. But I seen how other people was chasing that dream to the point of not being real about it. You're not good enough. Get a job. You know, finish your school.
Right.
So my friends who I played with, they were more fortunate than me. So as I played the game and enjoyed the sport, like I said, it saved my life. I started seeing guys who would try to go pro like for 10, 15, 20 years. And then, not to be rude to anybody, you had people who were still chasing that dream, and you would see them in the neighborhood, and they wouldn't see you. Then you would see them at a store. Hey, how you doing, man? Oh, I'm overseas, man.
I got you.
I just saw you at Randall Mall. You're not overseas. So that's when the reality point came in. We started reality sports as saying, nothing wrong with loving the sport. Nothing wrong with going to college. Nothing wrong with being a walk-on. Graduate, get a job. You won.
Right.
Everybody can't go pro. You can be a pro, but you ain't got to go pro. So that's why I got the thing, being a youth pro. You know, I consider myself since age 18, 20 as a youth pro. Because even when I was in college, when I came home from Youngstown, I was the guy, and like you said, Butler, Butler's younger than me. But when I came home from college, I would get all the kids together, maybe like 10 kids, 5-on-5 football, and I would be the quarterback. And all my friends who my age was like, man, what you doing with them kids all the time? It keep me away from the streets.
Right.
And so what I did was I would get 5-on-5. We do football, basketball, baseball, 10-on-10, and then I would reward the winner. Hey, let's go to McDonald's, or let's go get some juice and candy. And that's why I was doing that at a young age. Didn't even know it was going to be reality sports.
Right.
But as I got older, reality sports came about because I saw people chasing the dream to the point of immaturity.
Gotcha.
And it's not real.
I was definitely one of those dream chasers. I ain't gonna lie to you, sir.
They got my money twice. I tried. They had a trial at John Carroll. Gave my little $300 up. Oh, you're an alternate. I'm an alternate. Oh, if they go to Chicago and somebody can't go, you can go. Then somebody couldn't go. The second year, I made a team. Oh, you're going to Chicago, but it's 3 more 100. Oh, y'all just trying to get my money.
Right.
You know, but you'd be surprised how people continue to get that 300 at 150 up. You know.
Yeah,
that wasn't real.
No, as I see.
You got to face reality. You're not good enough.
hence reality sports.
Right.
So how do you? Because I'm assuming that you do more. Is it a recruitment base, or like you said, is it networking? Because I mean, obviously you've been doing this for almost we got 30 years. Yeah, 30 years now. So how do you get? Because even just going down, just looking at the profile of what you had. How do you get this 6-year-old from over here, from in Mayfield, or I know CMHA and all that area. I know that's kind of self-check a little bit, home base. You know what I'm saying? So I know that's kind of good. But how do you get the outside suburbs or whatever areas to come to you or gravitate to you through the reality sports?
Without being braggadocious, I've been blessed with keeping my name clean.
Gotcha.
You know, even though you work with girls. And the first thing I do is meet the parents, you know, because transporting kids Me being a 30-year youth pro, my name is positive in the community. I do try to. I never talk to a female. Like I give a flyer or a business card. If it's a little young girl, I want to talk to your parent. If, like say your daughter.
Right.
I want to talk to the kid. Have your dad call me.
Gotcha.
On a professional level, because I know I have 2 sons, but you don't want nobody talking to your daughter without you being there in this day and age.
Right. Oh, definitely.
So to answer your question, the years in has helped me also because, like I said, the Russell brothers, Vince Johnson, Greg Bell, Stan Kimbrough, Tony Miller, Earl Boykins, Clark Kellogg, they have helped me establish this positive name. So I got to thank them also.
Right.
But because of the years I put in, and like I said, it started in the dirt. It started at King Kennedy. It started at Lonnie Burton Rec because we didn't have a lot, but we had courts, and I must admit, they had talent, untapped talent in that area. Garden Valley, Mount Pleasant, King Kennedy, Kinsman, West 7th, West Side Projects.
Right.
And it was just amazing how they wasn't taught. So it was rough because you go out of town with 15 boys and, you got to watch them. Without saying any names, I've had kids 4 in the morning. I'm going because I couldn't go to sleep till they went to sleep.
Right.
Couldn't do that. And sometimes I would go out and get a bite to eat, and I see them downtown. What are you doing? We in Detroit. We in so and so, and that's when I was. They was saying, Coach Burke crazy, because we got to handle this.
Right.
There's a discipline for this, and we had some people. I'm not gonna put them out there who didn't play a lot of games. They appreciate it now because that's what they do now. And I was really stern on them because of what I went through.
Gotcha.
So I was really stern on the young men and the young ladies. Like I said, they called me. I wasn't Coach Burke. To Khadijah, Pooh, and Barbara Turner, I was workout man.
Man, yeah, man, that's a good. I mean, this picking the brain and this going so far. I mean, it's mind boggling because that's one thing I wanted to do. I always wanted to coach because I said the Boys and Girls Club just emulated me or whatever because I was always around kids. When they come from Charles Dickens at the time, it's the fire station now, but as the kid, this was back in the day, but as the kids coming down, we had that neighborhood watch type deal,
right.
So I was always with the youngins and stuff like that. So I mean, I dipped my toe into coaching a little bit, and I had a good time, but it subsided because I just think it was not my team or whatnot. But I just like. I like the mentorship. I like to do the mentorship
right.
or whatnot,
Oh, it's time consuming also.
No, I definitely I understand. And that's what I'm saying. And that's another question because that's the reason why I really couldn't do it because I'm working. I was working at the time. I was working multiple jobs, stuff like that. So I'm like, how do I put the same effort into the youngins? So how was you able to with work and family and then also?
Well, first of all, it was always part, like I said, even when I was in college, I would come home and be the quarterback for the kids or
right.
be the referee when they played basketball because it kept me out of trouble. And I love sports. Like I said, I think my mom having me in all them programs growing up, that's where I got that from. So my foundation came from that.
Gotcha.
Even when she put me in Karamu, I'm like, it's not a sport. But, being in plays and doing theater work and voice control, voiceovers and commercials, it was able to bring out something in me. And like you said, I'm big on networking. There's nothing wrong with trying nothing out and meeting people because you can't do it by yourself. And to answer your question, it was a point of working with kids even when I was teaching. And then when I became the manager at Lonnie Burton. Then I was a director at Boys and Girls Club. I always worked around kids because it's like my brother would come home from the service. He would come see me at Lonnie Burton Rec, and it would be 400 kids in the center, and all they would say is, "Hey, Burke, can I get a ping pong ball? Burke, it's swimming open. Burke, she hit me," and my brother used to say, "I gotta get out of here, man. How can you take them calling your name all day long?" But it didn't bother me.
Right.
It didn't bother me. But I'd rather have 300 kids a day, 500 kids a day, I'm not big on cement work, doing carpentry,
Oh, yeah, me either.
loading docks. Give me 500 kids,
We'll knock it out.
we'll knock this out. I'll program for them. That was a challenge to me that I was blessed with and had a lot of help with, like I said, from the city of Cleveland and networking through radio stations, helping out people coming down to talk my former athletes, helping out in that matter.
Right. So, going forward, going present day, since the quarantine and whatnot, we see that you still offer your workout programs, and you do it out from your residence.
Yes.
You do it from your residence outside or whatnot, and I was able to sit in, which it was pretty. I mean, it was a quick workout, but it was pretty strenuous. But so can you explain to the listeners what do you offer as far as what do you do now?
Well, since a lot of the rec centers and even Lifetime Fitness is closed down, Lifetime is back open, but it's just hourly. You can't get down with it.
Gotcha.
I with little kids I go an hour, but high schoolers I go an hour and a half. With my pros, semi-pros, we go 2 hours.
Gotcha.
So you don't have that time in the centers no more. So talking to my right hand, my wife, Vanita Burke, of 28, 30 years, she very patient. She a lot of her friends say, "Girl, we don't know how you do it," but that's my baby. That's my right hand. She has allowed me and been patient, to do this. Even when I told her my plan to, like, my neighbor next to where I live now passed away, and the house, her kids was living in the house. I guess it couldn't handle it, so I asked my council person about it. Blaine Griffin, who was very supportive. Could I do something with this house once the house is down? He was like, "Well, we don't know when it's going to be down." I said, "Could I buy the lot?" So I bought the lot. They tore the house down, and I was able to fundraise, get donations from my former athletes who I've been blessed for athletes who, like Chantel Lavender, Earl Boykins, Tony Miller, and my local athletes to give back. So when I bought the lot, I was able to put a fence around it. You seen the hoop,
yes,
volleyball court. So we do things of that nature. T-ball for the little kids. I was able to buy the lot. My wife supported me. I took all my equipment that I had in my schools and in my basement and put it in my garage, as you saw yesterday.
Yes, sir.
So I'm like I told you, I'm big on separation. People who just play the game without lifting, training, running, strengthening, skill building, you're going to be a notch behind the people who are doing that. So I was able to, like I said, through flyers, networking, keeping my name clean for 30 years and being supportive, the networking was able to say, "Hey, Burke is outside now." And it was crazy at first. People was like, "You're outside?" Man, I'm not playing ball outside. Because people think, first of all, the people years ago, you grew up playing outside on the blacktop.
Definitely.
You go out there and you get to, and when I told my college coaches who I connect with on players and references, they loved it. "Burke, you're back on the blacktop. You outside." When I showed the video, they were like, kids won't be soft anymore. Because college coaches and pro coaches feel always playing in the gym, calling your own fouls. You're not getting the contact. Back in the day, you on that cement, no foul. Didn't nobody touch you. Take the ball. That was the thing.
No foul. This is blood.
This is blood. So I don't train that way, but we are on the cement on the outside court that I developed, and like I said, with the weights and the stretching and the jump ropes, I'm just trying to make the total student athlete. We do tutoring, and as you notice, we every kid gets a snack.
Yes.
After they even from the little kids to the college and the pro. My pros laugh at it. But they take that sandwich, that juice, that cookie, and that meal, because if I'm gonna work you for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, I don't want to just take your money without giving you something beside the sport.
Gotcha.
You know.
Appreciate it. So you said t-ball for the youngins. You got volleyball, which I saw. You got
Right.
volleyball, and then obviously basketball. Do any football individuals come your way?
No,
Or,
I don't get.
or
I
you
get a
you
lot
don't
of
get down
football.
with that?
I get football guys to train,
Train.
but I don't do any football. Like we may go. I have footballs in my programming, but we may go like for little kids. We may go to Woodhill and run some routes,
Gotcha.
and I throw to them because I'm familiar with that from just being a sports guy myself. But I don't coach football or I don't teach down linemen. But we do play some catch and do some. I have a drill that I'm proud of that I made up called 1,000 yards. We do 10 100-yard sprints a day.
Oh, I saw that video. With the ladies did.
Yeah.
I think y'all did 5 that time or something.
Yeah.
But
It was too hot, so I only did 5.
yeah, gotcha.
But my goal every day is, and what I get them with is, hey, you ever seen a 1,000-yard rusher? Roger Craig and Tony Dorsett, Greg Pruitt. Yeah, they got 1,000 yards for their career, man, for the season. Y'all want to do that? Yeah. Until they get like the 6th one or 5th one, they dead tired. But we get 1,000 yards in a day.
Oh, man. I might have to tag along. I don't know.
You can do it.
I might
You
have
can
to
do
tag
it.
along.
I got water.
I might get down with
I
it.
got
Oh, yeah,
the water.
definitely,
I got the water there.
We gonna wrap up. You say you had shout outs, so he wanted to shout a couple of your peoples out.
Yeah, I did want to thank my original crew from, like I said, growing up, and the reality staff of, like I said, the Russell brothers, Richard Russell, Derek Russell, both played at Kennedy. Richard played at Youngstown State. Derek played at Canisius. Vince Johnson, who played at Cleveland Heights and University of Hartford, they all played a little overseas before they came home and joined us. Greg Bell, Tony Miller, my man Earl Boykins, who's from Cleveland, he's a product. And one of our biggest sponsors and biggest helpers is Clark Kellogg, Cleveland, Angela St. Joe.
Gotcha.
He does a lot to support us.
All right.
My AAU program and my staff at East Tech, LaShawn Brown is my assistant coach, but she played at Cleveland Heights, played overseas, played at Louisiana Tech. She's my AAU high school coach.
Gotcha.
Mario Wells that played at Tech basketball and football.
I remember him.
He's my 8th grade. I want to give him a shout out for his support. He's my 8th grade AAU coach. Jeff Isaac, Westside guy, but his daughter is an outstanding 6th grader, 7th grader here in Cleveland. He's my 7th grade coach.
Gotcha.
Terrence Williams, he's on my staff as AAU, but he's also outstanding. He sell homes.
Gotcha.
Anybody want to buy a home, see my man Terrence Williams. And like I said, his daughter is a 7th grader. She plays. Charles Doxley, he's my 5th grade coach. Hell of an athlete. He's not from Cleveland, but he's here working, and his daughter was in my program for so long. His daughter's been around like 5 or 6 years. So now he's on my staff coaching. And last but not least, James Brooks. He's here. He's my 4th and 3rd grade coach. His daughter is a 3rd grader, outstanding in the area. So those, I can never do it by myself without my outstanding wife, the support of my friends and family, like I just mentioned, the Russell brothers and Clark Kellogg, yes. Earl, Jantel Lavender, Barbara Turner, the ones who, give back, and my AAU staff.
That's a long list. That was a long list of AAU. I didn't know.
Yeah, we got 3rd grade.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we got 3rd grade through high school.
All the way down.
Very organized. Yeah,
that's good. So then as if they stick to it, then they just go on to that next.
And we've been blessed. We've been blessed. The majority of our kids stick with it. We're not 100%. We have people who don't like what we do because we do a lot.
Right.
We go year round. I do school visits because I want to know how you're behaving.
Grades and everything.
And grades, behavior. Because my thing is, you can't be a better athlete than you are a person.
Gotcha.
Because when that ball starts bouncing, reality is what you going to do. Hey, I don't play no more. Are you? Can you handle being employed?
Right.
Can you follow directions? So we try to use the ball, and so the ball won't use us.
That was well said. And with that, tell everybody where they can reach you at as far as if for any training or
Yeah.
anything like that.
I don't mind giving my number out.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Direct number 216-338-3223. Although we do girls AAU, we do train boys. I don't do boys AAU anymore. I only have girl teams. But I do have references to some of the top teams here on the boys side in Cleveland. But we train boys, train girls. Third grade, all the way up.
Gotcha.
My number is 216-338-3223. And we do have a reality sports website.
Yeah, and I'll link it.
Okay.
Once I put it up, I'll link all the contact information and whatnot.
I thank you.
So with that being said, this is Coach Burke. I appreciate you coming on, sir, and giving me a little bit of your time before you having to go train. And thank everybody for listening. It's been the Bruisery Podcast.